Hi there, this is Michael Rubenfeld, and welcome to my YouTube page. I'm very happy you're here. I had the impulse to sing a song or do a rap, but I'm painfully aware that I'm unable to do either, and so I will not. I will simply give you a smile and say, I'm so happy that you've taken this moment to join me out of your day. Today is going to be a video that I'm sure you're going to love because today we're going to talk about anti Semitism in Poland. Now, if I know anything about Polish people, they love it when people accuse them of being anti Semitic. No, I'm just joking. They hate it. They hate it more than anything. Well, no, they don't hate it more than anything, but it's probably in the top 5 things that Polish people hate. Am I right? I'm probably right. So, with that in mind, let's talk about it. Wow, that was cool. I just made that. I made that all by myself. It's not that good, but I made it. So I'm proud of myself anyways. So, anti-Semitism in Poland, or to frame it in a question, is there anti-Semitism in Poland? Well, the answer is not so easy to answer. I'm going to try and tread as lightly as possible because, frankly, I feel like we've developed a nice rapport, a nice relationship. I think that you, for the most part, like me, and I know that I love you, and I'd like to keep it that way. And so please note that if I say anything that might offend you or that you might disagree with, just let me know. But know that I come with an open heart because I'm here to ultimately build bridges, not break them down. So, before coming to Poland, I was told that Poland is anti Semitic and that Polish people are anti Semitic. Now, I was told this by my 90-year-old grandmother, whose last time in Poland was in 1945 after she was liberated from concentration camps. Back then, maybe there was a little more anti Semitism. However, her knowledge of contemporary Poland was zero. Did that matter to me? No, of course not. I just assumed she must have been right because why would I think otherwise? But listen, I'm not alone. Jews are told that Polish people are anti Semitic. Now, I don't want to go into the history of why that is because I think that there is a lot of untruths in that narrative. And I think that there are some truths in that narrative. And I might get to that at another video, but I still feel like we're trying to get ourselves to first base here. And when we get to topics like that, that's kind of more like second or third base. You know what I mean? You probably don't because those are baseball references. And what I learned about Poland is nobody knows anything about baseball in Poland, which makes me sad because I like baseball.
I like baseball.
The point is, first base is kind of like when you're on a date with somebody and maybe you get to the point where you have a goodnight kiss. I feel like we're still in that territory. You know, second base is maybe when you get to touch outside of the shirt. Third base is. Oh, look, this isn't one of those channels, you dirty bastard. So the question is there presently anti Semitism in Poland? So, in my experience, most Polish people are not anti Semitic. I would actually say that more Polish people are philo-Semitic, which means kind of like the opposite of anti Semitism. They are really interested in Jews. Now, sometimes that interest in Jews can get a bit weird for Jews because there's this question about why the interest is so great. And I think that if we start to unpack that, it's a kind of response to anti Semitism. But, anyways, let's not get too deep into that. I want to say that just because I say that most Polish people are not anti Semitic doesn't mean that there isn't anti Semitism in Poland. So, in my experience, there is anti Semitism in Poland, and it's mostly rooted in language. So, for example, the word Zyd means Jew, for those of you who don't know that. And that word is often used in a derogatory way. So, say someone is being cheap, for example, somebody might call them a Zhid or a Jew. Or often the word Jew is used just in the negative. There's also a fair number of Jewish jokes that might be told that would be considered anti Semitic or inappropriate. The interesting thing about Poland, however, is that because there are so few Jews in Poland, the anti Semitism that exists in Poland actually has nothing to do with actual Jewish people for the most part. For the most part, many people in Poland have never met a Jewish person. So they might have heard negative things about Jewish people from their family. There are some conspiracy theories that still exist in Poland that are a bit silly, like the entire government is made of Jews and they've all just changed their name. There are also a lot of narratives about Jews and communism. In particular, after the war, there were some Jewish people who were given positions of power. Some of them were even given positions of power as judges, and sometimes those judges were particularly harsh and issued death sentences to several Polish people that some now would say did not deserve to be killed. And that is not an untrue statement. And so there is some resentment towards Jewish people because of their associations with communism. Again, I'm not here to get into whether or not that is right or wrong because I'm not a scholar and I don't want to get the history wrong. I just want to explain why some anti Semitism does continue to exist and where it might stem from. Something that I find very interesting, and I have been saying this since moving to Poland, is that the anti Semitism that may exist in Poland is far less dangerous than the kind of anti-Semitism that has been living in other parts of the world, places like Sweden, places like France, places like America, and a lot of that anti-Semitism tends to revolve around Israel and the oppression of Palestinian people. That has always felt more tense and dangerous to me, and we can see now that, in fact, that was very much true because the attack on Gaza by the Israeli government at the moment has created an eruption of anti Semitism in places where anti Semitism was already starting to bubble up. And in some cases, that's quite dangerous for Jewish people. The anti Semitism that exists in Poland has tended to be kind of old anti Semitism, meaning the anti Semitism is a holdover from a pre war period. So the reasons that Jews might not be liked are connected to old narratives of Jews and business or Jews not assimilating, being exclusive. I don't know. Sometimes the anti Semitism is actually quite silly, connected to controlling the world, controlling the media, the very kind of silly things that aren't rooted in very good argument. And so I don't find it dangerous because usually you can get into a conversation about the stupidity of that kind of anti Semitism. There have been several occasions where people have told me a Jewish joke. It usually has to do with money. And I get the feeling that people think that by telling me an anti Semitic joke, they're showing me just how far beyond being anti Semitic we are because we can tell these kinds of jokes. And it's weird. I'm not going to lie, it's weird, but the intention is not bad. But I think that sometimes there is an unresolved relationship that people have with Jews or Jewishness. And so when they encounter an actual Jew and they want to be cool with them, that wanting to be cool with them may sometimes result in inappropriate behavior that they might not necessarily recognize as being kind of anti Semitic. Generally, I try to be open and generous and let people know why I say telling me a Jewish joke hurts my feelings, and I would rather that they didn't do it and maybe explain why telling a joke like this is actually just perpetrating anti Semitism versus fighting it. So, that said, the kind of anti Semitism that I expected to encounter in Poland was far more aggressive or rooted in violence because the stories that Jews hold on to, and in particularly the one story we hold on to is the Kielce pogrom, which was a post-war pogrom carried out entirely by Polish people. And that pogrom is so infamous amongst Jews around the world that it's created such bad publicity for Polish people. And so we assume because Polish people were happy to kill Jews on their own after the war, I think there was about 40, 50 Jews killed in that pogrom, that that's just the nature of Polish people. But the reality is that it was this very crazy, intense post-war period where this country was still kind of insane because they were so traumatized because of war. Anyways, again, I don't want to get into this because I'm not here to dissect the reasons certain things happen, but I can tell you that I have never once in my 7, 8 years in Poland felt remotely physically threatened because of my Jewishness. I've never experienced violence directed at me because of my Jewishness. I feel totally safe and free as a Jewish person walking around on the street, say, with my kippah, my yarmulke, on Jewish holidays. I don't wear it on other days, but on Jewish holidays, as I'm going to synagogue or coming back, I like to keep it on just because I like to be public about the fact that I'm Jewish and today's a holiday. And I like that I can just do that without worrying for my safety. And I do not think that I would feel the same way in a lot of other parts of the world. So it's kind of cool. Every now and again, there is an anti Semitic incident. There have been a couple of instances of Jewish dolls being burned as part of a kind of weird, old school Easter ritual. Probably the most problematic one was at a time where people were protesting Poland bringing refugees into the country. And so an image of a Jew was burned that was supposed to somehow parallel what would happen if refugees were let into Poland. That was problematic. And I do know that there is a rise of anti Semitism on the right, but there's a rise in anti Semitism everywhere in the world right now. And Poland is, I would say, not as bad as probably Germany or France or Sweden right now. So I'm going to leave it there. I have discovered that when I make serious videos about anti Semitism, I am not very good at finding moments of brevity or comedy. And I'm sorry, it's probably because I'm trying to keep my thinking straight. But I like to make you laugh too. But I think I've been pretty serious on the last couple of videos. And I'm not sure why. I guess I'm just a serious guy on the inside, but I will try to change that next time. Maybe I'll do a one-man Fiddler on the Roof. If I were a rich man, matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Sunrise, sunset. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. But I love you, and I love Poland. I love Polish people for the most part. Remember, let's build bridges, not break them down. Until next time, my name is Michael Rubenfeld. In Hebrew, they call me Michael. In Polish, they call me Michał. In Yiddish, they call me Michal. But you can just call me Michael. Bye bye.